with invocation.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 24. Srijami tapsvedam grasami tapsa puna bibhrarmi tapsa vishwam viryam me duscharam tapa.
I create this cosmos by such penance, I maintain it by the same energy, and I withdraw it all by the same energy. Therefore, the potency is penance only.
Text 25. Brahmavacha Bhagwan Sarvabhutanam Dyaksho Vastito Guham Vedhaya Pratirudven Pragyanen Chikirshitam.
Jyoti Mataji, Gita Mataji has joined. Thank you so much. Thank you for your help, Jyoti Mataji.
Okay.
Really appreciate that. Gita Gamya Mataji, can you please start with text 25, please? English.
Thank you. Sorry,
No, it's
the
fine.
internet was playing up. Sorry about it. Hare
No
Krishna.
problem, Mataji.
Lord Brahma said, O personality of Godhead, you are situated in every living entity's heart as the supreme director, and therefore you are aware of all endeavors by your superior intelligence without any hindrance whatsoever.
Text 26. Tathapi nathmanasya nath nathe nathitam paravare yatha rupe janiyanam te tvarupina.
In spite of that, my Lord, I am praying to you to kindly fulfill my desire of your transcendental form. You assume the mundane form, although you have no such form at all.
Text 27. Yathatma maya yogen nana shaktyupam brihitam vilumma pansra visarjan guhinan bibhadratman matmana.
I can't see. Okay. And please inform me how you, by your own self, manifest different energies for annihilation, generation, acceptance, and maintenance by combination and permitting.
Text 28. क्रीडस्य मोघसङ्कल्प ऊर्णनाभिर्यूथोर्णुते तथा तद्विष्यां देहि मनीषा मयि माधव.
O Master of all energies, please tell me philosophically all about them. You play like a spider that covers itself by its own energy, and your determination is infallible.
Text 29. भगवच्छिक्षिप्तमहं कर्माणि हयातन्धित्रा नेहमाना प्रजा सर्गं बध्येयं तयदनुग्रहात्.
Please tell me so that I may be taught in the matter by the instruction of the personality of Godhead, and may thus act instrumentally to generate living entities without being conditioned by such activities.
Text 30. यावत् सखास ख्युरिवेशते कृता प्रजा विसर्गे विभजामि भोजनम् अविकल्वस्ते परिकर्मणि स्थितो मामे समुनोद्धमदोजमानिना.
O my Lord, the unborn, you have shaken hands with me just as a friend does with a friend, as if equal in position. I shall be engaged in the creation of different types of living entities, and I shall be occupied in your service. I shall have no perturbation, but I pray that all this may not give rise to pride, as if I were the supreme.
Text 31. Shri Bhagavan uvacha ज्ञानं परं गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञानं न वितं सरहस्यं तद्गणं च गृहाण गतितं मया.
The personality of Godhead said, knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully.
Text 32. यावानहं यथा भावो यद्रूप गुणकर्मका तथैव तत्विज्ञानमस्तु ते मदनुग्रहात्.
All of me, namely my actual eternal form and my transcendental existence, color, qualities, and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy.
Text 33. अहमेवासमेवाग्रे नानयद्यत्सत्परां पश्चाच्चदहं यदेच्छयो वशिष्येत्सो समयहम्.
Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, and after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead.
Text 34. ऋतेर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत् न प्रतीयेत् चात्मनि तदिव ध्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः.
O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness.
Text 35. यथा महानति भूतानि भूतेषु चा वचेष्वनु प्रविष्टानि तथा तेषु न तेष्वहम्.
O Brahma, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created, and at the same time, I am outside of everything.
Text 36. एतावदेव जिज्ञास्यां तद्वजिज्ञासूनात्मना अन्वयव्ययावतिरेकाभ्यां यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा.
A person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to this in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly.
Text 37. एतन्मतं समातिष्ठ परमेण समाधिना भवान् कल्पविकल्पेषु न विमुह्यति करहि चेत्.
O Brahma, just follow this conclusion by fixed concentration of mind, and no pride will disturb you, neither in the partial nor in the final devastation.
Text 38. शिशुकावाच सम्प्रदिश्य वेमजनो जनानां परमेष्ठिनां पश्यत सत्तस्य तद्रूपमात्मनो नैरुन्दधर्हि.
Shukadeva Goswami said to Maharaja Parikshit, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, after being seen in his transcendental form, instructing Brahmaji, the leader of all living entities, disappeared.
Text 39. अन्तर्हितेन्द्रियार्थया हर्य विहिताञ्जलिः सर्वभूतमयो विश्वं ससज्जेदं स पूर्ववत्.
On the disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who is the object of transcendental enjoyment for the senses of devotion, Brahma, with folded hands, began to recreate the universe, full with living entities as it was previously.
Text 40. प्रजापतिर्धर्मे पतिरेकदा नेमान्यमान् भद्रं प्रजानां वञ्चिन्ना तत्तिष्ठत् सर्वार्थकामया.
Thus, once upon a time, the forefather of living entities and the father of religiousness, Lord Brahma situated himself in acts of regulative principles, desiring self interest for the welfare of all living entities.
Text 41. Tam narada priyatmano riktatha dana manuvrata shushashmana shilen prashayen damencha.
Narada, the most dear of the inheritor sons of Brahma, already ready to serve his father, strictly follows the instructions of his father by his mannerly behavior, meekness, and sense control.
Text 42. Mayam vidishan vishnor mashe yeshasya mahamuni mahabhagavato rajan pitram paryatoshayat.
Narada, very much pleased his father and desired to know all about the energies of Vishnu, the master of all energies, for Narada was the greatest of all sages and greatest of all devotees, O king.
Text 43. Tushtam nishame pitram lokanam pitamaham devrishi paripracha prapracha bhavan yanmanan manu prachati.
The great sage Narada also inquired in detail from his father Brahma, the great grandfather of all the universe. After being well satisfied,
Text 44. Tasmaidam bhagavatam puranam dakshalakshanam proktam bhagavata praha pritya putray bhutkrita.
thereupon the supplementary Vedic literature Srimad Bhagavatam, which was described by the personality of Godhead and which contains 10 characteristics, was told with satisfaction by the father Brahma to his son Narada.
Text 45. Narda prahamunye sarsa vaityastate nrapa dhyayate brahma parmam vyasay yamitat tejase.
In succession, O king, the great sage Narada instructed Srimad Bhagavatam unto the unlimitedly powerful Vyasadeva, who meditated in devotional service upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, on the bank of the river Saraswati.
Text 46. Yadutaham tavya prishto verajat purushadidam yatha siddhupakhayasate prashanayam shanchish kritasnasha.
O king, your question as to how the universe became manifested from the gigantic form of the personality of Godhead, as well as other questions, I shall answer in detail by explanation of the four Veda verses already mentioned. Hare Krishna.
Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the second canto, 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Answers by citing the Lord's version. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the recitations very much. Jyoti Mataji, I can share my screen, I guess.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So let me know what you can see. Do you see the title of the PowerPoint presentation? SB 2.9? If the
Yes,
correct screen is shared, because I have three screens. That's why I'm asking.
yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. So we are going to discuss the summary of the chapter today. So, I don't know. So let's start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी यं प्राव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतयो तरवो विनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि. So, we will be going through the what's there in the verses very briefly today of this chapter. It's a very, very important chapter because the most important part of this is the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, and that is in this chapter. So we can imagine that how much of emphasis is given in our movement in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and all the devotees of Srimad Bhagavatam, specifically for this particular chapter. So, yeah, let's go through. Let's chant our invocation prayers and then we will start. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे यन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसूक्तां सञ्जीवयत्य अखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नः अन्यंश्च हस्तचरणाश्रवणात् त्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. So this is a very insightful adhyay, the chapter of in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a lot to discuss and cover. So we will see how much we will go through today. So if we try to understand and imagine very, very close, very beautiful relationship between the father and the son, and son is asking questions to the father with the complete mood of his love, his surrender, and he knows who his father is, the Supreme Lord himself. And that Lord Brahma, the very empowered personality, he is asking the questions to his father, and his father is giving the answers to his son, but it is for the benefit of the entire creation, and that's what this conversation is. So, so that's why the the name of the chapter is Lord's version, what he is telling to his son. So if we go to the next slide, so verse 1 and 3 is telling us here that, give me 1 second. Here it is. Yeah. So verse 1 and 3, what Lord Brahma is asking, because you can imagine that Lord Brahma is going to create this this world. He's going to expand, and all the Vedic knowledge he has received in his heart. The Lord is a Chaitya Guru, and he's asking the questions that what is that relationship between matter and the spirit soul? As we all have studied in the Bhagavad Gita, that Jivatma is Tatastha Shakti. Antaranga Shakti is the inner potency, outer potency is the Bahiranga Shakti, and we are the marginal potency, which is Tatastha Shakti. And he's asking this very, very essential, very important questions to the Lord. And Lord is asking and Lord is giving the answers. In 2.8 is the basis for these questions. So where it comes from, in chapter 8, Brahma has already asked the questions to the Lord. Yeah, I think in 2.8.7 onwards, all the questions are. So actually, if we see, it's a Bhagavatam is a loop. So Suta Goswami and all the sages at the Naimisharanya, they are asking the questions, and then Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. And if we see the first verse of this chapter, 2.9, it's what Shukdev Goswami is stating here in the beginning. He says that Sri Shukdev Goswami said, "O king, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body." That relationship is just like a dreamer seeing his own body working. And then if we see the same basis, that statement is there throughout the chapter. And then in the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, Lord himself says this in verse number 31, where he says that Sri Bhagwan Uvacha, the personality of Godhead said that knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with the devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. So he's setting the scene here. And then if we go to the next verse, he's expanding this, his eternal form, his transcendental existence, his color qualities, nama, guna, rupa, and all that. So this is basically the guna and rupa he's telling here. And then comes the next verse, which is the first verse of the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, where he's telling, if we see the first verse, what we just read, what Shukdev Goswami says, and here Lord is telling, is confirming this. So the beauty here is his pure devotee, Shukdev Goswami, is declaring something, and Lord is now giving the insightful confirmation of what Shukadeva Goswami has said. So he says, "O Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation." So he's setting the basis of this creation, who he is, the personality of Godhead. And that which you see now is also I. So the relationship is getting established. In the next verse, we will see the further confirmation of this. The personality, it is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. And then if we go to the next verse, it's a beautiful purport Srila Prabhupada has given here. He brings from the different scriptural injunctions in this purport. Of course, the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, but if we read the details of where the description of the Vaikuntha and everything, but the Srila Prabhupada actually brings so many the background which is given in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, where the personality of Godhead is very beautifully explained. It's very detailed explained by Sage Yajnavalkar. And we can, throughout the purports of Srila Prabhupada, we can see that he brings the Upanishadic flavor to his purports. He brings from Taittiriya Upanishad, from Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Kathopanishad, and all other. So, and here, this is the one, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So, of course, I think earlier we have talked about the bigger, what is the differentiation between Shukla Upanishad and Krishna Upanishad, and where most of the verses to establish that Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada brings it primarily from the Shukla Upanishad. Some of those are from the Krishna Upanishad, like Taittiriya Upanishad, and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, or Shvetashvatara Upanishad, or Kathopanishad, all are the Shveta Upanishad. And then if we go to I think it's a little bit of diversion, but if we go to the next verse, and that's where he said, Kritartham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyanat manomayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. Very, very beautiful, very important verse to meditate on. There he says that, "O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness." So the fascinating bit here is pure devotees of the Lord, their statements are basically the glorification of the Lord. Here, because the Supreme Lord himself is telling this, it's a very direct statement. But when, for example, when Kunti Maharani is saying this, Namasya Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrute Param Alaksham Sarvabhutanam Antarbahiravastitam. So he's been described by his pure devotee Kunti Maharani. And the first verse of her prayers is Namasya Purusham Tvadyam. And she is offering her respect, her love, her affection. And Srila Prabhupada says that the position of Kunti Maharani is very much like Yashodamai in a purport. Srila Prabhupada explains that very, very beautifully. And here she's telling us that, "O Lord, Namasya Purusham Tva Adyam, you are the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishwaram Prakrute Param, and every single manifestation, you are the Param." It's a very beautiful Dvartha Alankar. She's telling that you are the controller and you are beyond all this. Ishwaram Prakriti. Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antarbahiravastitam. All the Jivatmas, they will not understand, they may not understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Antarbahiravasidam, you are inside and out, both. It's such a beautiful composition Kunti Maharani gives here. So let's go back to our discussions again. So here, the explanation here is it's because of Maya, soul feels connection with the body and material world. Aham mameti. So if you have heard Srila Prabhupada's lectures about the illusory energy and how soul is an illusion, he gives certain statements like aham mameti or atmavan manyate jagat. What those statements means is the ego, the false ego, tells the Jivatma that yes, you are very much related, you are connected to this body so much that without this body, your existence will be nullified. And that is the illusory potency of the Lord. And that's what Lord is telling here. Atmavan manyate jagat is another very, Srila Prabhupada brings that in a very humorous way at several times. He says that Jivatma thinks that the world should be like me and everything should be as per my ideas and as per my dimensions. And the humor in that is, if it is not according to what I think, then there is something wrong. And that is the mentality of the controllership. Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, in his seminars, he says that the controllership or the idea of I am trying to control I am the controller, I'm somebody who is a proprietor, that is nothing but a manifestation of envy. That I will try to correct something, I will try to control, it is something what belongs to me. That is all nothing but a manifestation of envy. And he has given a very beautiful series of seminars on this. So, what is the solution to this? We talked about the problem. It is all Maya, soul feels connection with the body and the material world, and Atmavan Manyate Jagat, something has to be according to my formula. And we can see that in the world about the religious fanatics from every single quote-unquote religious fanatics, that if it is not according to what I believe or I accept as the truth, and if something else is not fitting in that formula, then there is something wrong. And that is all a very classic example of how the illusory energy works. That people think it is spiritual, but it is nothing to do with spirituality. It's purely an influence of Maya. So what is the solution for this? And Lord gives, and here is the solution in the next point. Solution is bhakti. I just remembered something. Let us see. Give me 2 minutes. So in Bhagavad Gita, if we see an important verse, let me open that. When Lord shows his universal form to Arjun, and the concluding verse of this chapter is something amazing. So what he says here, Matkarama krunnat paramo madbhaktah sangavarjitaha nirvairaha sarvabhuteshu yah samamiti pandava. A very, very powerful, very beautiful verse to meditate on. So he says, my dear Arjun, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So that is the power of bhakti. And that's the second point here. Through bhakti, becomes free from misconceptions. Because for that Jivatma, the prime goal is the loving relationship with the Lord and everyone, every Jivatma. How that, if we just try to imagine how wonderful that must be. So let's go to the next point. So in the verses number 4 and 8, from 4 to 8, this is basically setting the scene for Lord Brahma and the Supreme Lord's conversation. Now Lord Brahma has appeared from the navel, the lotus which came from the navel of the Lord, and then Lord Brahma is going up and down on that stem of the lotus, and he's trying to understand who he is and what is the source, what is this beginning of this creation of himself. And that's where Lord gives the first instruction, tapa. And as you can see here, this is the Sanskrit alphabet. It's the concise one. There are few more letters in Sanskrit which are used as well, but we are not considering that part here right now. This is the base of the Sanskrit alphabet. So what is those 16th and 21? If we just count this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is 10, 15. What is the 16th one? The. Yeah. And then after 16, the 21st is per. The per. This is called varga actually. The first bit is ka varga, cha varga, ta varga, ta varga, pa varga, ya varga, and sha varga. So this is all varga. This is the categorization of the alphabets in Sanskrit, and this is all consonant. A, a, I, u, r, r, and a, I, o, aha. Basically, you recite a, I, u, a, I, o, aha, and these are all the consonants here. So, and then there is a varga. So, okay, let's not get into this discussion because we will not be able to complete our today's objective. So 4 to 8, what happened then in 4 to 8? The Lord presented his eternal and transcendental form, establishment of the personality. And then in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are prayers by Lord Brahma, where he describes the personality of Godhead, Tadvaidam Bhuvana Mangala Mangalaya, and many other prayers are very beautiful prayers are there. So when father is telling the son that this is what I am, and this is what it's like a 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, the opulences of the Lord. It's something on that lines we can think of. So why Lord presented his personal form to his son? Because he accepted the instruction as it is, tapa, austerity. You perform the penances, you perform the austerities. And for 1000 celestial years, Lord Brahma kept on performing the austerities because he realized that his creator, which is the Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Kartavya Buddhi is one of the higher motivations of the Jivatma to get attracted towards the Lord. And that is Kartavya Buddhi, the duty. I have to follow the instruction of my father and mother because they are my well-wishers. They have brought me to this material world. So that's why I will follow it. And that's what Lord Brahma has followed here, Kartavya Buddhi. And so that's where we can see the Lord presented his eternal transcendental form before Lord Brahma. Due to his performance, of non-deceptive penance in Bhakti Yoga. So accepting it as it is and non-deceptive. That's very important word here. The simplicity, the svikruti, receptiveness in his heart, Lord Brahma. And this answers Maharaj Parikshit's second question about the difference between the body of the Lord and the jiva, which is asked in in the earlier chapter, 8th verse. After 7th, the 8th verse is the 288, was asked by Maharaj Parikshit. The Lord's transcendental body is manifested by his internal potency, which is in 294, what the chapter we are discussing. Whereas the jiva's body is the manifestation of the Lord's external potency. So antaranga shakti, bahiranga shakti, tatastha shakti. So first and second verse is basically telling about the manifestation of Lord's external potency, and which is part of jiva's body, and that's what we saw in the first slide. In the 5th verse, Lord Brahma gets established as the first spiritual master because he has accepted the order of his father as it is, seated on his lotus feet, could neither trace the why he became the spiritual master, because he accepted the order of his father, tapa, which came twice. The word was uttered twice by the Lord, which is just for the confirmation, and which is nothing but what? The wealth of renunciates. Lord Brahma, initially, he did not realize where that transcendental, where that sound is coming from. But that's where that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what he explains in Jaiva Dharma about the Kartavya Buddhi, the Jivatma is the first higher motivation of the instruction to accept the instruction is the Kartavya Buddhi. And then that's the reason Lord Brahma accepted that and he executed the penances for the 1,000 celestial years, concentrating his mind on the prana and the senses. So why was he concentrating? The obvious question common man will ask is why was he concentrating on the prana and his penances? So our acharyas say that Lord Brahma, since he has accepted that order, his motivation or his mood was to appreciate what he has received. That shows his humility. That yes, these are the senses, this is the pran, and this is my existence, which is given to me. So now I will just meditate on what I have received and accept that with a gratitude. And because of that humility, he underwent the penances, and that's how the Lord manifested himself. And this is the 4 to 8 verses 4 to 8. Now what happens then? Because he has accepted, because he is appreciating the penances, but not the penances, the opulences he has received, his body, his prana, his everything, all the senses and all. Lord shows his darshan, and he takes, and then he takes him to Vaikuntha Lok. And this is the tour Lord gives to Supreme Lord gives to Lord Brahma. He shows him Vaikuntha, inhabitants of Vaikuntha, the beauty of that Paramadhama, as Arjun says in the 10th chapter, 12th verse, 12th and 13th verse, basically, that Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Vajam Vibham. So this is the Paramadhama Lord Brahma is now visiting. he's seeing that. Where there is Mother Lakshmi, all other celestial residents, and then Brahma is in ecstasy. He is overjoyed. So the supreme planet, adored by the self-realized persons, free from sufferings, free from confusions, free from all the offenses, free from the influences of the modes of material nature, free from time and Maya, and where the Lord is worshipped by all the personalities. So here in the verse, it is said that he is worshipped by all the devatas, asuras, and bhaktas. Naturally, the question comes is why devatas and asuras? Because in the Vaikuntha Lok. So what again here our acharyas say that every, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das, and that's what Lord Brahma's celestial vision could see, that every single living entity is directly or indirectly worshipping the Supreme Lord. That the prayer in the last canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the 12th canto, Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunmantiri Vestave. And in that prayer, Sura Asuragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. The Lord is worshipped by everyone. So in that celestial vision, in the Vaikuntha Lok, Lord Brahma could see that everyone is worshipping either directly or indirectly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's what this, that's what it means. So let's go to the next set of verses, which is, okay, I think we missed the one more point here. How do the residents of Vaikuntha Lok look like? And that's there from in the 11th and the 12th verses of this chapter. They're bluish in complexion, which is glowing. Gopal Tapani Upanishad. I think I'm sure all of you must have heard about the description of the Lord in from the Gopal Tapani Upanishad. Srila Prabhupada refers to that in his lectures, that every resident of Vaikuntha has the same complexion as the Lord. And the Upanishad says that even if it is bluish black complexion, still it is effulgent, glowing. So for the materially conditioned soul, it is very difficult to understand that how can black color be glowing? How can that be an effulgent color? So, and the conditioned mind of the soul, that's why we will start speculating. And that's why the explanation from the acharyas is very important, very essential here for us to accept as it is. So they have lotus-shaped eyes, dressed in yellow garments, they're ever youthful, they're effulgent, having a very pleasing demeanor. They're four-handed and decorated with shining earrings, crowns, and garlands. So, and then the description comes about what's there, how beautiful the Vaikuntha Lok is. In the third canto, it is again elaborately explained. So let's go to the next one. And then after this, you can see the exchange, as Srila Giriraj Maharaj says, that the loving exchange among the devotees is most pleasing to the Lord. So Lord Brahma's his mood of servitude, his mood of humility, and Lord is giving him giving him the tour of Vaikuntha Lok, and he's very pleased because of that. So he shakes hand with Lord Brahma and then offers him the benediction, though it's called Vara. in one of the words for benedictions is work. So he asks him, and then if we go to the what those verses are telling us is the Supreme Lord accepted Brahma as worthy of following his command for creating the universe, and being pleased with him, shook his hand. So for everything Lord does, there is Leela as well as there is a purpose. There are a lot of things Lord achieves, brings forward when he performs any activity, when he Leela. And when he says that I'm very much satisfied with your long penance, your tapashcharya, tapa. In order to carry out the creation, I'm hardly satisfied with the pseudo mystics, the people who have some inner motivations, some ulterior motives, and if they try to perform some austerities to gain the material powers or the mystic powers or anima lagima siddhi and all that. So Lord is telling us, he's stating here that I'm hardly satisfied with the pseudo mystics. And then he's saying, please ask for the benedictions. The Vara from me, the giver of all benedictions, Vareshwaram. But you may know that the ultimate benediction of all penances is to see me. And we can imagine that when we chant the holy name of the Lord, and our desire is to have that relationship. When can we have that relationship? When the Lord will reveal himself to us. Then the relationship becomes very sweeter. And in our deity worship as well, if some of you are following the Pujari Seva, the mood of Pujari should be of that Brahmana, Yajan Patan Patan Dana Pratigraha. So yes, it's the mood of Aishwarya Bhav that yes, you are the Supreme Lord and I am your servant. In a Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, when we chant that holy name, as Mahaprabhu says that Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, and that time Lord offers the benediction. What is that benediction? Is to see him, to be with him, to accept his order is the benediction. And in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, we can constantly see that the exchange between the Lord and his devotees in Navadvip Dham as well as in a Jagannath Puri. The darshan of my abode is the highest perfection, Lord says that. This has been possible because of your severe penance. And by penances, when Lord is saying this, it's because Lord Brahma has accepted his, that is the mood behind it. Know that it was I who spoke, tapa, when you were perplexed in your duty. That's what the mood is, it was me who spoke tapa to you, and you were perplexed, and still you accepted for the severe penance. And in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, no, fifth canto, sorry, when Maharaji Rishabdev is telling his sons, Tapodivyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhet yasmat brahma saukhyena anantam. This is it is the instruction from the Lord himself, his avatar, Maharaji Rishabdev, what he's saying, oh my sons, divya tapa, without any putting logic in that tapa, if you perform that austerities, tapodivyam putraka yena sattvam, in the mode of goodness, not for a tantric tapa to get some mystic powers type of thing, that is a rakshasi tapa, yena sattvam, shuddhet yasmat brahma saukhyena tvanantam, and that purification will bring you the eternal bliss, the unlimited, never-ending bliss. That's what Maharaj Rishabdev is telling his sons. And here again, Lord is telling this to his son, Lord Brahma. And penance is my heart and soul. Lord is telling this in 23rd and 24th. And therefore, penance and I are non-different. I create, maintain, and destroy this material universe only by penance, and my power arises from immense, intense penance. So, as the famous verse from the 9th chapter, Yat karoshi yat joshi yat tapasyasi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurusho madarpanam. Offer everything to me, because that every single penance is made to serve the Lord. And that's what and that penance, we can perform the penance. It is because Lord has given us the facility, this material body, this mind, this intelligence, this false ego as well. It is given by the Lord to perform the penance, to understand his mercy upon us. And then Brahma said, being the super soul, you know everyone's desires and endeavors. So you can see the exchange between the Lord and his beloved son here. So let's go to the next part. And then now Lord Brahma is asking the questions to his father. So 26 to 30, those are all the questions. The Lord's forms, and that's where he's saying, please tell me about your material and spiritual forms. In the next two verses, he's asking, how are the various spiritual and material energies of the Lord, of you, are working? What is their function? Then he asks the next questions about his activities, his Leela. What are the Lord's what are your activities in relation to your material and spiritual energy? Very, very powerful, amazing questions Lord Brahma is asking, because his intelligence is, his whole existence is purely in intelligence. So, and then he is asking, please bestow your mercy for my execution of your instructions without pride and bondage. Such a beautiful benediction he's asking when Lord is offering him the benediction. By Brahma, in this, his questions are very similar to Parikshit Maharaj's questions, and that's why we were talking about the loops earlier. Parikshit Maharaj is asking questions to Shukdev Goswami. Who is Shukdev Goswami? The spiritual master. He's telling everything what Lord has explained in the beginning to Lord Brahma. So it is all coming in succession, in line as it is. And we will see that succession towards in the later part of our discussion today. And that's where the Chatushloki Bhagavatam comes in the picture. Ahameva sameva agre. So from the 31st verse up to 38th verse, so for this 31, 32, 33, and 34, we briefly touched upon the 31st and 32nd verse. So in the 31st verse, Lord talks about the most secret knowledge of his form, and the realization of that form with jnana. The jnana is the knowledge of his form, and the second part is the realization of what his form is, supremacy of his form. What is the rahasya, what is the gupita behind it? That is the prema bhakti. And what is that, for that, to understand that rahasya of prema bhakti, to get that prema bhakti, what every jivatma should follow is sadhana bhakti. And that's the nectar of devotion given to us, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions. Srila Rupa Goswami has written this. Jnanam paramam guhyam me yad vijnana samanvitam sarahasyam tad angam cha grahya guditam maya. Grhana guditam maya. What he's saying here is, then he is talking in the 32nd verse that we just saw in the beginning. By my mercy, you may attain perfect realization of the details about my forms, qualities, and pastimes. Yadrupa guna akarmakaha. So every single activity, when it is dedicated, which is offered to the Lord, there is no reaction to it, and that is the one of the instructions. And then 33rd verse, Lord is telling, I alone existed before creation as the Lord of the spiritual world. So he's basically talking about the setting the scene for Lord Brahma's creator of this universe. And that's why he says, I'm the Lord of the spiritual world, but the creation he's referring to is this material world, because that's just the beginning. After creation of the material universe, the super soul and his various avatars, he will be there all the time. And after annihilation, as the Lord of Vaikuntha, I will be there. And that's the 33rd verse he talks about. In 34th verse, which is the last verse of the Chatushlok Gita, we can see how the concluding part of this verse is. Whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. It is my illusory energy. And again, we can see this is again related to the first verse, what Shukdev Goswami is stating in this particular chapter. So let's go to the next bit. 30, we'll talk about 35th to 38th verse now, which is after Jatushloki, which is basically the expansion of the Jatushloki, where Lord says that his activities in relation to his energies, which is in context with Lord Brahma's question here, that how his different energies are working and what is the pastime and the relation to his energy, which will come later cantos, Sandhini, Savvit, Ladini, how Lord and his energies are acting in the as per his direction, and how those energies act. Again, we will go back to either Bhishmadeva's prayers or Kunti Maharani's prayers or even Yudhishthir Maharaj's prayers. Just by his glance, the energies are working in the spiritual as well as in the material world. And that is why he is called Adhokshaja. Adha means down, Aksha means I, Aja means beyond. So that's what the Lord's, how the energies work. His name explains that to us. So in the 36th verse, he's telling one who is searching after the absolute truth must perform sadhana, must perform that austerity. So basis of austerity, why Lord has established that 1000 celestial years of austerities of Lord Brahma, because that is the best process of bhakti. Austerity performed to have that relationship, to have that loving exchange with the Lord, which is nothing but bhakti, is the best process. Only by bhakti can you overcome bondage, pride, and lethargy. And that's what we saw in the last verse of the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Mat karma krunmat paramo. That was the verse. How to understand this, that the meaning of this whole Chatushloki Bhagavatam here? Follow these instructions with a complete, extreme concentration. Then you won't be bewildered. That's what the Lord is telling his son. What is the reason I gave you the details of my existence, the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And after instructing this to Lord Brahma. And since Lord Brahma has seen his transcendental form, the Lord disappeared. And let's go to the next part of this. Now, what comes is the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, which is followed in the Parampara. So, as you can imagine, Lord has given the importance of austerities. Lord has shown the Vaikuntha Lok to his beloved son, Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma has that mood of servitude, mood of humility, and now how that comes in the Parampara, that we will briefly go through. The Lord, the object of transcendental enjoyment for the senses of the devotees, Indriyartha, he has disappeared, and Brahma then began to recreate this universe. So what that means is creation of the universe, which with the Shabda Brahma is already given to Lord Brahma. It is there in his heart. The Vedic literature of how to create everything with different mantra, and as we saw those alphabets in Sanskrit, that is the basis for the dhatu, the kriyapad, the creative energy of the Lord. And that's where the Lord, who is the supreme transcendental enjoyer, that's why he's the through his transcendental senses, he's the owner of all the senses. And that, what is the name of the Lord? Rishikesha. Rishika means senses, and Isha means the Lord. So he's the enjoyer, the owner of all the senses. And then once Lord Brahma, his mood is how every living entity which is going to enter in this material world, in his universe, will get benefited. How that living entity will be, every pure devotee of the Lord, their desire is to bring other living entities towards the lotus feet of the Lord on the path of bhakti. And that's what the mood of Lord Brahma is. So his mood is how they can be benefited by following the rules and regulations to fulfill the desire of the Lord. So creation of this world for those conditioned souls is to, the purpose of Lord Brahma is that every living entity should get benefited by following the rules and regulations, which is the sadhana bhakti. And then in the Narad Muni, we'll go back to our previous setting the scene. Now Narad Muni is discussing with Lord Brahma. Till now, Lord Brahma is telling about his how he appeared and what is the nature of the Lord and what is the instruction of the Lord and everything. And in the last few verses, Narad Muni inquires to Lord Brahma about Lord's Maya, the energy of the Lord, Bahiranga Shakti. And Narad Muni is the dearest son of Lord Brahma. He's obedient, he's a sense controlled, he's meek, he's humble, he's well behaved, and the greatest of all sages and the devotees. Narad Muni is very much pleased with his father. So we can see that the Supreme Lord is communicating his, giving all his love to his son Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma is now talking to his beloved son Narad Muni. And Narad Muni has a desire to know all about the Maya. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which contains the 10 characteristics, was told by Brahma to Narad Muni. And in succession, Narad Muni instructed this to Vyasadeva, which is the parampara we earlier talking about, who meditated in devotional service upon the Lord. And in the last verse of this chapter, Lord Brahma is saying, I will explain how the universe became unmanifested from the universal form and will answer all other questions as well. And then in the next verse, next chapter, the beginning itself is about the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam, means what is the classification of the different cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's how it will start. And that's another relishing point for this. So I think time is up. So we'll stop here. Are there any questions or comments? No questions, no comments. Okay. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
My Dhanvat Pranam, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, I just wanted to say wonderfully explained. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nicely explained. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. It's just repeating what I have been hearing from different classes in some books. So no credit to me for anything. Thank you, Mataji, for encouraging words. Any other questions or comments? If not, then we will stop here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
Vaishnavebhyo
namaha.
namo namaha.
Anantakoti Vaishnavavrinda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the excellent class, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful class.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. All glory.